Hi guys, and welcome to the Horror Room. So back again with another small little update. Um, I should probably wait till I get a little more, make the videos a little longer. But hey, who doesn't enjoy a good little pickup video? Kind of just saying, hey, look what I found. Pretty awesome, right? So yeah, I wasn't expecting to find anything today, but I actually did. So I was like, hey, why not? First off, we have a Mario Bava film called Shock. Now, I've never seen this one, but I have seen it in a 3-pack with a movie called A Blade in the Dark and something else. I can't remember. Now, I was going to get that version, but I mean, if I can find them all separately, I'd rather do that. But I'll probably still will end up getting that version just because I like to collect those things. But the main reason I grabbed this is it's a Blue Underground release. They do some fantastic releases, especially when it comes to Italian horror. So there's got to be a good reason that they put this film out. Let's read a little bit of the description. It says, one of the best Italian horror films of the 1970s, a nail-biting experience. When a family moves into a home with a shocking secret, their lives become a nightmare of homicidal hallucinations as their young son begins to communicate with the spirits of the dead. Remodeled in madness and painted in blood, they soon discover that domestic bliss can be murder, when home is where the horror is. Wow. So, pretty schlocky description, but I'm expecting this to be pretty entertaining, so I'll give it a check out. Next, we had a Stephen King movie that I was excited to find because I don't own it, and I've been wanting it. Now, I don't want this cover technically, but Stephen King's Graveyard Shift. If you know the iconic VHS cover, it's like the skull with the the minor headlight and stuff. It looks really awesome. This one a little more generic. So if you didn't know this movie already, this wouldn't really stand out. But I was like, hey, I haven't seen this movie in a long time. Let me grab it. And I actually just watched it. And I gotta say, it holds up fantastically. It's a great movie. One of the better Stephen King movies that doesn't get talked about, in my opinion. And it's got Brad Dourif in it. And Brad Dourif is always fantastic. But this was a really fun, great movie. So I would I would recommend checking out Graveyard Shift. I'm so with my words. Next, we have a movie that, again, by all purposes, this is kind of cheating. It's a little more actiony, but hey, we have a Darkman 3 Die Darkman Die on VHS. This is a super clean copy. It was in a protector. I took the protector off. The protector was like really faded and yellow. Yeah, this just looks really cool. I've never seen the Darkman movies. I recently got the collection on DVD, so I will check them out. But I said, you know what? This one's probably not very common. So I was like, I'll grab this one. And I actually had a chance to get Darkman 2 as well at the place I was at. But here's some advice for anyone collecting VHS. Always check the tapes. Not only to make sure you're getting the correct movie, but you want to check the tape itself for mold. Now this one, I couldn't really see it. I'm pretty sure that it's in fine condition. I mean, if the tape is this immaculate, I can't imagine that the film itself would be in any more rough condition. Next, we had a movie that was a little higher end on the price that I normally would pay for a VHS. But I said, you know what? This is going to look great with the other ones. It definitely screams rental store. And that is Night of the Scarecrow. This is a Republic Pictures release. I think Republic was responsible for Rumpelstiltskin as well. That's one that I really want to grab, the original. They did re-release it. I wouldn't mind getting that, but I know the original is probably like a little cheaper. And I would really love to find Dark Night of the Scarecrow, which is an old movie that I like. I have that on Blu-ray, but I love the old... I'm trying to remember the name of the company. It's like a rainbow and there's a key. I don't have any of their films, it looks like. No. It's like Key Treasure or something like that. I can't remember. But that was the rental for that I remember, and I'd love to get that one, but it's stupid expensive. But yeah, I picked this up because I said, you know what? It might be a little fun, might be a little schlocky. And last but not least, this is a film that would probably, most people would just walk on by and be like, eh. But since I knew about it, I was like, whoa, because it was incredibly cheap for what it was, and that is Metamorphosis: The Alien Factor. Now, if you don't know anything about this movie, you might be like, oh, this is just, a generic sci-fi horror movie. But it is actually the sequel, the unofficial sequel, let's be honest, of Return of the Aliens Deadly Spawn. Now, this, of course, is a cut box. I wish I had it in a non-cut box, but hey, this movie's kind of hard to find. Regardless, I have it on DVD. I can watch it in much better quality. But something about this, I love that it's got these super graphic, gory screenshots. The tape thing is like you open it up and you're seeing the back of the tape first, which is kind of weird. But yeah, it is the original tape. And I was like, you know what? Since I have this, I gotta have the sequel. So I snatched this right up. And when I looked at the tape, there was a little bit of mold on it, unfortunately. But it was like a speck. So I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to try to save it. And let me tell you, I'm not one to usually open up my VHS tapes. I'm not an expert at cleaning or swapping spools or anything like that. And there are people that they will run a multi-tape through an extra VCR and they swear by it, like, oh, you put a cloth in there and some solution and you run it through and then you just use that videotape or the VCR for cleaning. Now, there's actually a machine that someone made that is made for that purpose, but it's got a very long waiting list because there's a lot of people with dirty tapes that they're like, hey, I got to clean this shit, and this seems way easier. And like I said, I could have gotten the Darkman 2, but it was like a lot of mold. So I was like, you know what? This one, if I'm risking it not working for $5, because that's how much I paid, $5 for this movie, I'll take that risk because it was not a lot of mold. And I haven't watched this movie yet, but I'm planning on doing like a double feature sometime where I watch these back to back, see how they compare. Now, I do know the creature looks slightly different in this movie compared to this one. And this one's in more of a, home out in the middle of nowhere, aliens attack type movie. This is more of a space sci-fi setting, like on a ship. But, hey, as long as it looks cool, as long as there's the gore or whatever, I'm all down for it. So yeah, not a lot of pickups, but I was happy with what I found. Definitely, anytime I can add movies I don't own, or even if it's a variant or a different format. Like I got the Darkman 3 on VHS, I got it on the DVD. I have the first Darkman on Laserdisc. That was one of the first ones I bought because I was like, hey, you don't see this on Laserdisc a lot. So yeah, I'm definitely hoping to keep adding to my growing VHS collection. I think I'm at... Oh, shoot, what am I at? I'm at one, including those, maybe 187 now, maybe? So I'm getting pretty close to 200. Maybe I can get to 200 before the convention in August. But if not, I mean, hey, I'm fine. I'm fine with waiting. Now, I will mention I did see Child's Play 3, and that's one of the movies I'm missing. But they wanted a little more than I was willing to pay for it. This one was slightly cheaper, and I said, you know what? This is probably the more interesting one. Now, if they would have been the same price, I probably would have grabbed them both. Who knows? Maybe in like a few weeks after the convention, I can go back out there, and if they still have it, I'll say, you know what? Sure, I'll pay that now because paying on eBay is a little more expensive than what they were asking. But hey, I'm in no rush, and that's how it should be when you're collecting for fun, especially with VHS horror movies. VHS in general is going on the rise, but horror movies have always been expensive. And I would say if you're collecting for fun, that's good, but it doesn't hurt to know some people that are into it as well. And you can pick up extra copies to trade with them or say, hey, I got this for you. There you go. Don't be a jerk. Don't try and oversell something. Like, I'm not going to buy a copy of Halloween at Goodwill for $1 and turn around and be like, it's $10. No, I don't even care if it's the media version. But there you have it. Couple little pickups. Hopefully enjoyed. Stay tuned for the video coming up next.